Hey yo, how's it going everybody? Hope that you're all doing very well. I'm still sick, which sucks, but it's alright. Ladies and gentlemen, the day has finally come. If you watched my previous review, which by the way, thank you all for the support on that, it has now become the most viewed full-length video on my channel, which is dope. But if you watch all the way to the end, you did hear that I did trade in my 2023 Charger for a different vehicle. I know a lot of people are probably questioning right now, like, why would you trade in a brand new, sports car? Like, why would you do that? Well, that is because I have bought officially my dream car. And it has been a long time coming. I did sign the deal on this a little while ago. However, there was a lot of work that needed to get done to it first. And then the dealership was kind enough to also let me rent out this 2024 Tundra, well, loan out, I should say, because it's not a rental. But I just got word this morning that it is finally ready and has been fully detailed and all the other work has been done to it. So we're gonna go ahead and pick that up right now. And I am fucking stoked about it because this thing is very special. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And actually, before we do that, I'm gonna go grab some caffeine because I'm very dead right now. All right, ladies and fellowsmen, I gotta be straight with you. It is the next day after I went and picked up the car. I wanted to film a lot more yesterday, and I wanted to give you this little review slash kind of tour of the car all yesterday, but Mother Nature was not on my side yesterday. It was quite literal torrential downpour, like to the point where I was soaked after walking outside for like 20 seconds. And not only that, I was so eager and like a giddy little schoolgirl to drive this car. So instead I decided to, spend some time with it, kind of learn the car and kind of get used to the feel of it as well. But now that there is not a tsunami coming from the clouds and I have spent a little bit more time and gotten used to the vehicle and taken my own little look around, let me go ahead and show you all around not only my new car, but my dream car. What we have here is a 2014 Dodge Challenger SRT8. Yes, this is just a little bit older than my last car, also known as my 2023 Dodge Charger. There's probably a lot of questions being raised right now as to why I traded in a 2023 for a 2014. Well, let me go ahead and explain a little bit as to why I did that and why I bought this specific car. So the SRT in the name of this Challenger stands for Sport Racing Technology, which is the top of the line trim model that Dodge offers. And in 2014, that was the last year that they produced these SRT8s before they switched over in 2015 to the Scat Pack and the SRT, which completely eliminated the SRT8. The 2015 SRTs came with everything that the SRT8 did, and just for some reason they decided to rename it to just the SRT. And the Scat Packs came with the same motor that the SRT8 did, but it got rid of a lot of the features that made the SRT so expensive. So this is a one of a kind in the way that the SRT8s were discontinued in 2014, and finding one in this clean of a condition is pretty rare. And when I did my research and I found this thing and I looked a little bit more into it, not to mention I also was a little bit more influenced to buy it because I've always wanted to own an SRT Challenger. And I ended up pulling the trigger and also getting rid of my Charger because, well, the Charger that I owned was a base trim level model, and it's not quite as rare, obviously, as one of these things are. And among many other things, ultimately, at the very end of the day, even further on in the future, this thing was going to be financially better for a few different reasons for me than that Charger was. So, ended up pulling the trigger on it, and now I have my dream car. Anyways, enough about the whole giddy schoolgirl story behind this. Let me go ahead and show you guys around this SRT8 Challenger. This one's primary color is pitch black, and it was equipped with gray racing stripes, which honestly just comment the thing so well. I'm not particularly a fan of this hood with these two little like snot-nosed type of vents here. They are functional vents, much like the single hood scoop vent that I had on the Charger, but I'm just not really a fan of those two things. It literally just looks like a nose. And down here we have the grille of the car, which is very much square. As you can see here, we have both Challenger and SRT badges on the front in pretty good condition for 2014. The chrome is holding up actually substantially well here. As well as the lights and fog lights on this. This thing's lights are actually in really good condition. There's not much fogging going up on the lights, which is honestly pretty good for a vehicle that's almost a decade old. Anyways, going down the side of the car here, first thing that's pretty stand out is the 392 badge on this thing. 392 stands for something special, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. Here are the stock 20-inch rims that come on the SRT8. They're blacked out. I'm like half and half on them, but you know, they'll work for now. This thing is sitting on 255/45 R20 tires, which are some beefy tires. And one of the things that makes the SRT8 and the SRT stand out is they're equipped with premium Brembo brakes. Not only are these things bright, shiny red and cool looking, but they are also 6-piston premium sport brakes, which give this thing some very good stopping power. Not to mention this thing also has slotted rotors, which cools it down a lot better and gives this thing a lot more stopping power and prevents them from overheating as well. And taking a look down the side of this thing, just overall, there is one thing that makes Challengers stand out, and that is that they are just very boxy and square, which gives it sort of a callback and homage to the older generations of muscle cars, which were very much square. And it still has some architectural points going down the side of the car, so it doesn't look like it's, you know, trying to just be a phony copy of those old ones. At this very satisfying chrome fuel cap, which is just aesthetically very pleasing. And taking a look at the rear end of this vehicle, we have the taillights on this thing, which honestly, this particular set of taillights, I'm not really a fan of. That is the one thing I do not like about this car, and that is, excuse me, the taillights. And that's just because I much prefer the newer style where they have 2 rectangles going along the side and a little black piece in the middle. But that's not a complete deal breaker. And I know eventually later on down the line, like later on, I will probably end up swapping out the taillights on this for some newer ones. And we also have a little SRT8 badge on here, which is something that will make this particular Challenger stand out amongst many others as well. And taking a look at the trunk, we have a pretty adequate amount of space in this thing. Obviously not as much space as the Charger or other sedans would, but for a coupe, has a pretty good amount of space. And one of the special things that this Challenger also did come equipped with was 2 8-inch Harman Kardon subwoofers and a tire inflator as well, in case you have a puncture in your tire at any point in time. Said I will come back to the 392 part of this, and before I get into the interior, let me go ahead and explain what the 392 symbolizes. The 392 emblem on the side of this thing indicates how many cubic inches of motor there is in this vehicle, because this particular This particular Challenger is equipped with, there we go, the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8 Hemi engine. The 392 is one of the 2 Hemi engines that Dodge produces, and the 6.4 liter, which is what this one is the upper echelon of those 2 engines, and puts out, in this particular model, 470 horsepower and 470 foot-pounds of torque. And not to mention, out of the 2 engines, being the 5.7 and the 6.4, this one is a lot better and well-rounded in comparison to the 5.7, just build quality and overall performance-wise. Also, don't mind the engine bay. It is very dirty, but I do plan on detailing this myself very soon. Anyways, now that we're done with the exterior of this thing, let me go ahead and give you guys a little tour on the interior of this thing, which, as you can already tell, gives me a gigantic car boner. You can see along the doorstep of this thing, we have the Challenger name embedded in a little chrome slit for this thing, just to protect the body paint of it. This particular Challenger, because it is an SRT8, comes with SRT8 seats, and this one in particular is equipped with red leather and premium red Alcantara cloth. Honestly, these seats are very, very comfortable, having that Alcantara support kind of like your bunda and your lower back. It's very soft, very cushiony, very pleasant to sit in. And then having that leather be a little bit more sturdy to support your back and your, shoulders. It's a very nice quality seat, and Dodge did a phenomenal job with these. We also have that same red Alcantara lining along the door panels here, and these very interestingly placed door handles, which I'm not a fan of. And if we go ahead and take a seat in this thing, we have this special leather-wrapped premium SRT steering wheel that Dodge only puts on, obviously, the SRT models. We have this special Mopar shifter, which I'm like half and half on. I'm like kind of a fan, but also not really. It just seems very We have your gauge clusters right here, and the original, or one of the original, 6.1 inch Uconnect systems, which is a little bit outdated, to be honest, but it gets the job done, and it is still pretty equipped, especially for a 2014 vehicle. If we go ahead and turn on the car, which I don't know why the push to start is upside down, but I got a cover coming for that because that is just irking me. As you can see right here, this thing is slightly equipped, and it is a 2014, so it takes a little bit while to load. It's got navigation technology. It's got aux abilities. That beeping is going to piss me off, so I'm going to just... There we go. It has navigation abilities. It does have Bluetooth, USB, and aux as well. It has a variety of customizable options, not quite as much as the 2023, but obviously when there's a decade in between two cars, obviously the newer one's going to have a lot more customizable features on it. You have your system setup right here for the entire Uconnect system. Audio control right here as well, which we can control the balance, fade, and equalizer parts of this vehicle. Your climate control options down here, and they are physical only. There is no climate control options within this, unlike the Charger I just had. You have dual heated seats right here, along with a sport mode, which I have yet to touch, but I will touch later. And if we look in the clusters right here, you can see that check engine light's not on, but when you key a vehicle on, obviously it just shows that. You have your different little page settings right here, which include gas mileage and distance to empty. You have your audio options, performance features, system features, which I haven't fully dived into all these yet, so this is just like a little, you know, halfway review on it. Some personal settings for, oh, excuse me. Anyways, we have personal settings as well, much like for language and other, you know, certain things on the vehicle. Temperature, if, you know, you couldn't figure out what temperature was outside, if you needed to know that for any reason. This thing is also equipped with a power sunroof and moonroof as well. And if you look right here, much like the Charger, this also has a little emblem slash badge, whatever you want to call it, put into the passenger seat right here that says Challenger SRT. Which in all honesty is very aesthetically pleasing. And then you have the back seats as well, which are in that same red leather and Alcantara as well, with a little cup holder armrest right there. Now, obviously, this is a coupe, so it's not going to have a crazy amount of seating room in the back. However, in comparison to a lot of other coupes, this thing actually does have some pretty good space back there. I'm not going to cram my big ass back there right now, but there is a pretty decent amount of seating back there because Dodge just loves making gigantic vehicles, I guess. And that pretty much does it for the inside. And some of the other features that this particular model of Dodge comes with that I forgot to touch on a little bit earlier when I was doing the exterior included this one was the first generation to have remote start, which just to show you and also give you a little bit of a listen. Yeah, this thing stands out in comparison to my Charger for one big reason, and that is that 6.4 liter V8, which got the same amount of gas mileage as the Charger, however puts out double the horsepower, double the torque, and sounds like this. This thing, in all honesty, man, just But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for my little walk around and tour of this SRT8 Challenger. That's going to do it for today's video. If you like this video, then please do leave a like on this video. And if you feel so obliged, please subscribe to the channel as well. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.